divinely guided messages for healing of the mind, the body, and the soul. Welcome. Today's message is going to be about expectations. Expectations. I think we all have different expectations to what life is supposed to be. We have different expectations as to how it's supposed to feel or what we're supposed to experience. We have different expectations to what other people are supposed to be like. We have expectations as to what these new things that we're going to try out are going to be like. We have expectations to what we're going to be able to accomplish in this life. We have expectations to what we think other people should be accomplishing in this life. We have expectations to how we're going to find happiness, what we're going to do with it. We have expectations to what love is supposed to look like. We have expectations to all of these things. We have so many expectations, and a lot of these expectations are like hand-me-downs from the people who had no idea what they were doing either. So a lot of these expectations that we live with every day, a lot of these expectations are built on other people's opinions, people from like different era of knowledge, different, like they didn't have the information either. And they're gonna like hand you down their expectations to what your life should look like and what it shouldn't look like. If you look around in the world and you look at what most people, how most people feel, like most people, you'll find them on a scale from like just a little bit of unease. They're feeling a little bit of unease inside to full-blown panic attack. There's so much fear, and there's so much fear out there, like in people, so much uncertainty, and you don't know, and then all the expectations, like fulfilling all these expectations, like who you're supposed to be when you go to work, who you're supposed to be when you interact with people, who you're supposed to be when you go do this or that, like so many expectations. And there you are in the middle of it, and you're trying to like look at all these expectations, and you're trying to be like the person who's supposed to do all that stuff. And then you get like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And then you feel like you're not good enough, and you might feel like you're not worthy enough, and you might feel like you can't really do it because of all the expectations, whereas the whole time you were actually just fine. Everything was just fine. And all these expectations, they're like little mosquitoes and they just come in and they just bite you for a little bit, and then they leave this edge and you can't really figure out what to do with it, but it's very annoying. And so what do you do with it? Like expectations, like seeking other people's approval. It's like, I want to be good enough. I want to feel good enough. I want to be accepted. I want to be included. I want to be a part of. I want to be all of that. And then, so if I want to be all of that, then they told me over there, then you have to check A, B, and C. And so so if I check A, B, and C, I will be included, and they will love me, and they will take care of me and make all my dreams come true. And then so what do you do then? Like, do you do A, B, and C, even though you know it's not going to make you happy and it's not going to fulfill your own expectations? So maybe you create then D, E, and F, like your own list. That would be like great. Most people would do the A, B, and C just because it's been presented. This is what we expect. We are the powers in this situation, and we expect you to do this, and so you have to follow it. But you don't have to follow it. You can do it if you want to. If you don't want to, that's okay too. You do have free will. There's always going to be consequences to all of our actions here on planet Earth, but as long as you're willing to take the consequences, there is free will. Like in there, we're humans. We all have different desires, different things we want to experience and accomplish with our life. And so expectations, we're all surrounded by them all the time, and they're very limited. Many times they're very limited. Like if you have good expectations, it might be helping you to pull yourself up a little bit. It might help to raise the bar, or you can overcome things that you didn't think that you could do, or like people expecting good things for you or from you, like that. It can help you grow, but also it can limit the way that you are able to be alive within yourself, that you are able to be like present within yourself and to seek the validation. Like people will always have their own expectations of who they think that you should be. So everybody out there has like their own expectation of who they think that you should be. And this is the template that they work out of. And so if they don't like you, then perhaps they should check the template, because they might not even like themselves. And then when you do something different, then here I am following the template, the expectation template. They gave me this template, this is your expectations, and I follow it, and I'm miserable over here, but I do it because now they like me. And you're not going to follow it, but then I'm going to hate on you because you're not following the template, and I'm miserable and I have to follow the template. Well, you don't really have to follow the template. You can do it if you want to, because the rewards that you get might be what you want. But if you don't really care about that, then you can make your own template. Make your own template and do that, and make you happy. You'll be living a good life here on planet Earth and all this stuff that is going on. But everybody has their expectation of who they think that you should be. Their opinions are almost always based on their restrictive societal norms. And we all know the rules and the regulations of the society. Don't step outside of the box. It makes everybody uncomfortable. Now we don't have a script anymore. We don't know what to do. So you got to stay within the lines and color within the lines. Well, these are the restrictive societal norms, and therefore they are extremely unrealistic. No matter what they tell you, remember that you have permission to be whoever it is that you most wish to be. You don't need anyone else's approval, just your own. So if you want to live your life in your own way, you have the right to do that. Like people, they might come in and they'll be like, no, I think you should live it this way, or I think you should live it that way. Well, that's your template. You go ahead and you have fun with your template, and let me build my own template over here, because I think for me it would be better too. And then you fill in the blanks for whatever your life would be looking better as. Because you're currently, I can assure you, like 99.99% sure that you are following one of the templates that was handed over to you from someone. And then they hand you this template, and there you are living by this template. And if you check in with yourself, are you really happy? Is this a good template for you? If it is, then good for you. Then you are great. Then you are doing great. You don't have to worry about it. But if you are kind of feeling like this is not really quite, I don't know, it's kind of daunting and I'm not really excited to get up. I don't really care that much, or like it is just whatever or whatever. And then maybe the template is not for you. Like maybe you have to look in and check in with the template so that you can find your own inner self, your own inner strength, your own inner courage to actually take ownership of the life that we have here on planet Earth. Like we're all different people put together in a different way. To say that everybody's going to be the same, we're all going to be the same out here, and we're all going to do the same, we're all going to speak the same, we're all going to do that so we all feel safe. No, nobody feels safe. Everybody's just bored, or like it's just boring, and it's just like, who needs that? Like, well, it's good to have some commonalities that we can agree upon, but we're all human, so we always have that, right? And so self-love, awakening, mental clarity, like being in the expectations of others, being under the spell of the expectations of others, you could say. They are controlling us by the expectations that's been placed upon us. And so if you want to break free from it, now you can go within. Always back to the within, magically. Magically, the magical turn that you can make over there, the magical U-turn, you take it right inside of yourself. And that's the magic. That's where you're going to find the glitter, the gold, everything that will maybe even transform into the outside. But if you start within, you are starting in the right place, because this is the only place that you can actually go in and do make some difference. And so self-love, like mental clarity, when awakening to all these things, like, am I really living my life, or am I living someone else's life? Am I just a part of this template that they gave me? Or do I actually have my own voice in here? Do I actually have my own strength in here? Or am I actually doing the things that make me happy? And once you start, also society, we have like close down so much of our emotions. Like it's dangerous. It's dangerous. We can get rejected, we can get laughed at, we can get like all kinds of things that are vulnerable when you come out with your emotions, like, right? But emotions is like our guiding system. It's like you don't have to go out there and blurt it out everywhere, but you are going to be rewarded 10,000 folds once you use and utilize your internal guidance system, the emotions, because they tell you stories all the time. And the emotions, like energy in motion, it's like you can't see it, but it's, of course, it's always there. And so you attract how you feel. And so once you start to go within, this is why I always been nagging about gratitude, because gratitude is a really high level emotion. Like it's a really good vibration. Once you get into the vibration of gratitude, you're like sending out all these signals, like boom, 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 gratitude, bam, 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 all around you. They're sending out all this gratitude. And then the universe is like, oh, hey, look at that gratitude person over there. Okay, let's send them more stuff to be grateful for. Yeah, here you go. Here's some. We love it when you're grateful. It lifts our whole vibration and our whole mood. The universe be happier when you are grateful. So they're going to send you all this good stuff. And so now you're going to follow your own template, and you're going to find the things that truly make you happy, and find the things that where you are on fire. You're going to find the things that make your life worth living. And sometimes you just have to explore a little bit, try new things. Maybe there's something from your childhood. Often when we're children, we find things that we love, and they tell us the expectation is not this. You cannot do that. Like, this is way out of the social norms. We are not doing that. Not in this family. With this family name, we are not doing that. Okay. So maybe sometimes then you get older, and then you go back and you be like, you know what, that thing that I was so curious about way back when, because children are more open. They are more like, they're not as colored and as suffocated by expectations yet. They will be, because that's society. That's why I love kids, but I also feel bad for them, because the journey through life is not an easy one. But expectations. So taking ownership, going back within yourself, find the things that you love doing and do more of those things. Like, what is it that make time pass by like really fast? Like, when time goes flying by, then you are probably doing something that you really love, because otherwise it usually takes a long time. It feels like it takes a long time to live when you are not in your right element. And so some part of the awakening, okay, so maybe now you see how your whole life has been run by expectations. Whole life, everything that we do, everything that we spend our time, precious time doing here on planet Earth, is run by expectations from someone else's opinion. And so now that you know that, it's going to awaken you. And awakening, oh, we'll be like, oh, it's like stretching in the morning and having a cup of coffee. No, it's not. It's like being kicked out of bed, and then you have the coffee all over you, and it's all messy, and now you have to clean it up, and it's just not good. So that's what awakening usually feels like and looks like, because the image that you had in your mind of what was really life is now breaking apart. It's breaking open, and now you can see it from a different perspective. It's always painful, and this is why they say the ego is so strong. The ego is going to fight it, and you're actually fighting. That's what you're fighting. Your pre notions of what it should be like, your expectations. Like, this is the expectation shield, the ego. And so once you try to break through it, it's going to say, no, don't do that. Can't do that. It's dangerous. Everything that you've ever heard about breaking through the expectations, everything that they ever told you that could happen if you did it your own way, is going to come rolling back in on you once you try to break through this thing. And so just do it anyway. I can promise you that once you do it, you're going to see that little voice, all the fear, all that stuff, it's okay. You're going to find that on the other side, but you just have to be willing to go through it. And then to see that, like, okay, so when you go through it, when you burst through it, okay, so here I am though on planet Earth, and everything I do in my own life is based on other people's expectations. What do I do? Okay, so a smart thing to do, once you have this realization, you can take a step back in your own life. Take a step back and find some peace and quiet. Even if you're in a family, you can always find some time where you can sit with yourself. You can pray about it. Like, what would be, like, what are the things that make me most happy? Like, how would, if I could put together the life that I would like to, what would it look like? And then you start to draw it out and make maps. And don't be afraid to do it. Find your security. You can do this. This is your life. This is how you perceive it. Is going to be what it comes into being. And so you just sit there with yourself in the stillness and map it out. Like, what would it look like for you? It's going to be different from what it would look like for me, for what it would look like for them, because we're different humans. And so finding the way back into like clarity, insights, like being clear. You know what? I don't really like doing that, so I'm gonna stop doing that. You know, I don't never really wanted to be a part of that, so I'm just gonna quit. Or I actually wanted to go there rather than staying here, so I think I'm just gonna go there. And then you can make decisions on the spur of a moment that will change everything. And just like following the nudges, following the insights, following going for, like, to have peace of mind, to not be stressed out about all these things. So how do you do that? Like, we've got all these expectations knocking on every door, and here you are all stressed out because you don't know how to follow all these expectations. So what do? You would take a step back, you find that stillness, breathe for a little bit, and you find that inner stillness. And then you'll see that, okay, they are out there, the expectations. I don't have to latch onto them. I don't have to hang on to them. I can sit here in my stillness and I can figure out what I want to do. And that's your right to do that. And once you do that, and also when you sit in the stillness, like, you are worthy, you can accomplish the things that you want in life. It's not selfish to be ambitious. It's not selfish to want to be doing self growth. It's not selfish to step up and stand up for yourself. It's not selfish to do these things. They're just inconvenient because you're picking on everybody else's, like, hey, I'm following the template over here and now you're not doing that. And what am I supposed to do? Like, now you're, and so they're going to come in tenfold. So starting to do this work, but you are worthy of having the peace of mind, the clarity, everything that you would like to have for your life is yours for the taking. But you have to get through some of the hurts and the bumps and the twists and turns. But it always comes back to self-love, and it always comes back to acceptance, like accepting, okay, so I know for me, like, I had to accept that, yeah, I was running around there like a little puppy for the majority of my life. I was running around there doing everything that everyone said. If they said something, I would run there. If they threw a bone over there, I would go get it. And those are like not my prime moments. But if you don't know any difference, you don't know any difference until you know it. So just look at what you are actually doing, and then you can break through it. And this is how you make the change. This is how you make change within yourself, and this is how you break the old patterns. This is how you have to be brutally honest with yourself, and not everything, most of it's not going to be that pretty. But what you will find on the other end of this is that you are beautiful, and you always will be beautiful. And there is, in each and every one of us, we have all elements of being a human. There is no shame. We're all just out here trying our best, trying to be the best that we do our best, right? So if you go within, you find your inner self, you find your self-love, that's where you're going to find your strength to stand up against or towards or amidst the expectations. You can stand, you don't have to do anything. You could just, once you know who you are and you are okay with that, and you also don't need their approval to know that you're okay with that. You don't need them to tell you that, oh, you did such a good job. Okay, well, good. I'm glad you found it to be a good job. And now I'm going to do it anyway, because this is what I'm doing. And so you find your own inner confidence and you find your own inner voice, and you do it because you want to, not because of the expectations, not because of what people tell you to do or whatever. It's a huge awakening. It's a big difference. And we're all surrounded by all these expectations. But you don't need anyone else's approval, just your own. So make sure that you give yourself the option to live a very fulfilled life that comes from knowing yourself and to building up the life that you want, because that's what you want. And so the beautiful light in me, it honors, it loves, and it respects the same beautiful light in you. Until next time, namaste.